So today, my story that I'm doing is about stimulus check scams. There were some East Texans who posted on social media about the scams that they fell for and trying to warn others to not fall for those kinds of scams. So
Right.
I wanted to discuss with you, what have you guys seen that are the most common types of scams in terms of those stimulus checks?
Well, the scams is not so much one particular area. It's very important for taxpayers and for tax professionals as well to just be cautious of fraudulent communications that claim to be legitimate organizations. And what they do is they request information from you, request personal information for allegedly receiving a refund that you do not have, or allegedly saying that you're in trouble. When these scammers do this, they try to create a sense of urgency in the individual. When you have a sense of urgency, you act sometimes without thinking. And sometimes it seems like no big deal to give them information, whether even it's just confirming your name or your address, that's still giving them a chance to say this person is a good target for identity theft. Um, Additionally, many of these messages come from, in many forms, from unsolicited emails, which is called phishing, or text, which is called smishing. And what they want is just deceive individuals into providing this sensitive personal and financial information, which of course they can later use to rob your identity.
Right. And yesterday on the phone, when I first spoke with you, you were asking me about a specific type. I don't remember the exact name, but you were saying the numbers
Yes.
like 40. Yeah, can you kind of elaborate what that specific um topic you were trying to discuss with me? Yeah.
Right. So the latest we've seen a few, we see scams all the time. But as of late, we've seen one with the employee retention credit. Now, this employee retention credit is a real credit that is given to employers that during the pandemic were able to retain their employees in their payroll, even though they might have been working, etc. But lately, there have been a lot of people that have been receiving phone calls from individuals that quote unquote want to help. And the problem is that in order to qualify for this, there are very specific steps that need to be met, very specific eligibility requirements that need to be met. If an individual calls you and says, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it. We'll the we can I can tell you if you qualify in 5 minutes," right there, that should be a red flag. What happens sometimes is that employers hire these alleged groups, and yeah, they submit their paperwork, and maybe they get the credit, and then something happens where, oh, there was a revision and there was a review, and you don't qualify for this. So not only do you have to return the credit, you can face a fine, and whatever you paid this trusted group or a person that wanted to help you, they're long gone. So that's one of the things that we wanted to advise. The other thing is that we tell people all the time that the IRS will never initiate contact with taxpayers via email, text, or social media regarding anything about their tax refund or their tax bill. So some scammers now are sending a tangible product. They're sending a letter that looks legit through the mail, asking for a picture of your driver's license and some sensitive information because you have a refund still pending. Be very careful, because the IRS does not do that. So the problem is that now people say, well, it arrived in the mail, so it should be legit. You have to exercise caution and not only avoid this type of urge to check. I mean, you can always do that by calling the IRS or by checking your online account at irs.gov. Never send out your information. Always treat your information like you would cash. You wouldn't flaunt it, and you wouldn't just give it to anyone. So make sure that your information is well secure.
Thank you. And another question would be, how many scam reports have you all took note of so far this year? Specifically, maybe, do you know the number here in East Texas that we're in?
Well, yeah, well, we don't have a specific number because they're always being reported. So it's that's difficult to track. What we do detect are trends, just like the one I told you, the one with the employee retention credit and with the actual tangible mail sender that looks like it comes from a legitimate company. Those trends is what we try to address, and some of those cautionary tales can be found in our Dirty Dozen. It's a list that we put out every single year that tells and warns taxpayers and tax pros what to watch out for, what trends are happening that scammers may use to steal your identity.
Okay, Dirty Dozen is what it's called.
Yes, and
Okay.
I can send you the link. I'll send you the summary link, which is there was a series of press releases, but there's one that just summarizes everything, which I think is the best.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and send that after this if you can.
Of
And
course.
and another thing, I know you were kind of discussing what people need to look out for and how to protect themselves
Mhm.
to not become the next victim, but is there any other tips that you didn't mention that we should know?
If a taxpayer receives a message that's either phishing or smishing, first, do not respond and do not click on any links. Instead, what you should do, you should report the scam by forwarding this either email or copying the text message as an attachment to phishing@irs.gov. That's phishing with a PH. Also, it is essential to include the caller ID if it's there, email, phone number, date, time, and the number that received the message when making the report. Now, you can also do it through report the scam through the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration or the Internet Crime Complaint Center. But you can also find complete details on how to report scams on Report Phishing and Online Scams page at irs.gov.
All right, I think we've got it all. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that we did not discuss for my story today?
Nowadays with technology, it's very easy to copy and represent something that you're not. So these cyber criminals use popular tactics to target individuals, and they identify themselves as either a true financial entity or even communication pretending that that they are a family member. So um, always be accurate. Always double check everything. Verify the identity of the sender, and to do that, send another communication method like calling a number that you know it's going to be accurate, because a lot of these things they'll send it out and the information that's there, it's not the right address for the IRS, it's not the right number. So make sure you do your due diligence, because the first line of defense is you.